Signs that you were trauma bonded, what that means, right? Are you trauma bonded? You're asking yourself, what are the signs and why, more importantly, can't you leave, right? There's something that is, you're stuck somewhere, you're attached. And so I want to start here because most people are looking at this completely wrong. They think that they're struggling to leave a person, when in fact, they're more so confused about their feelings, right? They think, oh, their feelings, they just need more clarity. They need more answers. Oh, if I just had more conversations, if they just understood this about me. But what's actually happening is your body learned a pattern that feels like connection, even though it is not built on safety. Trauma bonding is not love. It feels intense. It feels very consuming. And yes, it feels like there's something very real there, something worth holding on to. But here's how you know it's not built on consistency. It's built on emotional instability. And your nervous system gets hooked, literally hooked like a drug, on trying to get back to that high, whether it be a good moment, you know, a romantic moment, a moment that brought you joy, a bonding moment. But it's not the person, it's a pattern. And once you understand that, everything starts to make sense because you're not sitting there asking yourself, why am I so attached to them? You start asking, what am I attached to inside of this? Like, what in this cycle am I attached to? We get on these roller coasters of up and down, the good moments, the pull in, the rejection, and then connection. And it's like sometimes rejection leads to obsession. So it's distant, it's confusion, it's the emotional drop, and then it goes back up, and your system goes into that work mode again. And you're trying to get back into the good. That's the loop. And if you don't recognize it, trust me, you will stay in it. So, because there's so many people that are in these relationships, these trauma bonded relationships, they don't even recognize it. One of the biggest signs will be that you're confused. Not an occasional confusion, not a miscommunication, a constant, consistent confusion. If you are constantly trying to make sense of your dynamic and you replay every conversation and you overanalyze tone and you are constantly in question of your own perception, you go back and forth between, well, that felt really good, but this felt horrible, right? It's this constant roller coaster of up and down. And instead of trusting what felt off, you justify it as a moment, but these moments keep coming up. So you say, well, they didn't really mean that. Maybe I'm overthinking. Maybe I'm not good at this. Maybe I'm too sensitive. But here's the truth. Clarity never leaves you in a confusion state. So if something is healthy, and I'm healthy doesn't mean perfect, but it won't keep you in a constant state of questioning yourself. That questioning is not coming from nowhere. It's coming from an inconsistency. And an inconsistency is what keeps that bond alive. Another sign is just these grandiose emotional highs and lows, like literally like this flood of love and this drop of like your world, like someone just ripped the carpet from underneath you. So when it feels good, it feels so good, right? It's like a drug. It feels connected. It feels so close. And then all of a sudden it shifts. And when it shifts, whoa, it is like a different ball game. The air changes in the world. The pull away, the distance, the tone changes. This person is no longer available, and you feel it immediately. Instead of saying this doesn't feel right, you go into response mode. What changed? What did I do? How do I fix this? How do I get it back to how it was? But ask yourself, when it was really good in those moments, how long did they last? And how much energy have you focused on restoring those moments that were really honestly never stable to begin with when you really think about it? And that's the trap, because those high points are what keep you hooked. It's not the reality. of the relationship. It's the small moments that keep you hooked. And your system starts to chase those moments instead of evaluating the whole picture, because the whole picture doesn't align with your fantasy of what you want it to be. And another sign is that you're constantly trying to prove your value. You want them to see you so badly. You want them to recognize you. You want to be treated in the way that you know deep down you should be treated. So you try harder and you show up more and you explain yourself more. And when they disrespect you, you lean in, you give more and more and more. And the more you give and if those feelings aren't met, the self-abandonment comes in. So instead of pulling back, you just keep pouring in, because you think if you could just do it right, they'll finally see you. And that's where you lose your position of just self-worth. It's not about winning or losing, but it's when you lose your own self-worth, you're now tied into something bigger. And it's just not where your worth belongs. If you're starting to make excuses about behavior, you're justifying behavior that you know doesn't sit right with you. You say, well, we've been through a lot. We justify it with time. Or, we're learning to communicate, we just don't communicate. Or, they show care in their own way. Or this is, whatever it may be. Those things just might be true because it doctors your opinion of reality. And they do not make the dynamic healthy. Understanding someone does not require you to stay with them. And that's where empathy gets misused. You use empathy to stay in something that you know isn't good for you, because you see signs of good, you see potential, you see glimpses, you see glimmers, you see that old, honeymoon phase, and you're trying to get back to something, but you're staying in what currently hurts. And deep down it's not right. Your friends are telling you it's not right. Other people, outside people, can see it in a different way, and you think, you're isolating. So it's this push and pull, and it's not just emotional. It's it's physiological. I didn't say that right, but you know what I'm saying. Your nervous system adapts to the pattern. It starts to know the cycle, and it recognizes the highs and lows, but you can't get out of it. You think you can't get out of it. It feels like it's like an adrenaline dump. It's dopamine hit, that high. So leaving feels like a withdrawal. It feels like a loss. It feels like something is missing. And that discomfort is what pulls you back. That fear is what pulls you back. And then guess what? The cycle starts again. Another sign is if you're going back and forth and you say you're done and you create the space and you pull away, and then something happens, they reach out, you reach out, they say the right thing, you say the right thing, there's a moment of connection, and then you go back. If you're in a cycle of that, it's trauma bond, it's not love. And every time you go back, you feel like, the bond gets stronger because you're enduring something. You're enduring a pattern together. But you're not actually fixing it. You're reinforcing it. When you endure it over and over, you're reinforcing it. And that's where I'm going to come in and challenge you a little bit, because once you see it, you don't get to stay confused. Once you recognize the pattern, you have to make a decision. You have to make a decision. You either continue to participate in it or you start to break it. And breaking it is not about trying to understand it more or seeing it better. It's literally about interrupting it. It's about removing yourself completely. It's not about responding when your instinct is to respond. It's about going back to your instinct, going back to the discomfort of separating yourself long enough for your system to reset. And it's hard. because when you keep going back, it's like a drug. So you get that hit. And when you finally step back and get out of it and you get a chance to regulate outside of the pattern, oh, it's a struggle. Because you think that the solution will be immediate clarity. But you start to have other conversations with yourself. The clarity is already there. You just haven't acted on it. And that's the truth. You already know. You already feel it. If you looked up trauma bond and you want to know more about what that is, you already know you're in it. You've seen the pattern. You're just hoping it will change. And hope is what keeps you stuck. When you put your hope into a human being, it keeps you engaged. It keeps you available. It keeps you connected to something that you already know is not giving you what you need. So the shift is not more understanding. If you're going to put your hope into something, put your hope into God. Separate yourself from the trauma bond, create space, and choose to participate in a greater awakening of your own participation level. And it's not easy because your body is going to want to go back. Your mind creates stories. You're going to remember the good moments. You're going to get a flash of a picture you're going to remember something that you did. And you feel the pull. And that is part of it. And it doesn't mean you're making the wrong decision, though. It means that you're breaking a pattern. And patterns are hard to break. Habits are hard to break. And sometimes it doesn't happen just overnight. It is a continued effort. It's uncomfortable. But on the other side of that discomfort is something stable, something clear, and it really isn't going to require you to question yourself to the degree that it's detrimental to your soul. And you're not addicted to the highs anymore. You can let go of the intensity level. You want peace. You want consistency. And you want to feel safe in the connections that you make with people. And so you're never going to get that by staying in a trauma bond. You will get that by leaving and not going back. And I want to end this here. If you're seeing this and you're here in that moment, if you're recognizing yourself in this, I want you to stop asking, why can't I leave? And start asking, what am I still participating in? What am I getting from this? Because that's where your power is. You don't break the bond by trying to understand it more. You break it by no longer engaging with it. You don't have to come to terms of why you had it. That's the shift. You just say, I'm not doing this anymore. You break the engagement. And that's the shift.